Louie DeBrusk, joining us from Edmonton, the site of the Battle of Alberta this evening. Louie, how you doing, man?
I'm kind of chuckling because I'm reading your mail. I understand. I've had that cough. It's an annoying cough won't go away.
Thank you.
And it goes away for bits and pieces, which allows you to do your work and do your thing, but it's constantly in the back of your mind that it's there. So I'm feeling your pain.
Yeah, but Louie...
I'm great. I'm great, by the way.
But Louie...
Shakespeare. He nailed it, as usual. Louie DeBrusk nails it.
No, not the same. But Louie, unlike Sid, you do some things to help maybe, like, I don't know, exercise or eating right or going outside, having some fresh air. Yeah. So, I mean, he's not putting himself in a position to win. Let's just say that.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I do everything possible to try and get rid of it when I have it, that's for sure, because it's the nature of our job. We have to be able to talk. So when you start losing your voice, it's not very good. But I hope it clears up for you, bud.
Thank you, Louie. It's glad someone here has is a supportive nature towards me. Louie DeBrusk joins us. Louie, so let's pretend it's tomorrow, and you and I are talking, and I ask you, what were your impressions of that game last night? What do you think you would tell me?
Well, I'm hoping I tell you it was outstanding. And that's, listen, this has been building for a while, and I know people want to go back to the January 11th game, what happened between Kassian and Tkachuk, but if you go the year previous in the first matchup between the two teams, it was a doozy of a hockey game. It was unbelievable. There were some big punishing hits in that game, some of the biggest hits that I've seen in my entire career, good, clean hits. Bennett hit Nurse. There was a fight. You saw Lucic erase Giordano. He got back up, and he was fine. Then there was the melee with McDavid, Tkachuk, Backlund. Lucic got into it with Tkachuk at the end of the game, and that kind of carried over. And the first matchup between the two teams, it was a 5-1 win. There wasn't a whole lot happening, but I don't know what happened on January 11th. It just seemed to have an extra bite, and a lot of it had to do with Matthew Tkachuk. Listen, Matthew Tkachuk's one of those players. He understands it was a big game, and he went out there and he just started to hammer away at Zach Kassian, and Kassian finally boiled over and said enough. But it was a great hockey game. I mean, let's not forget, the game itself was a terrific game. It was fast, it was skilled, it was physical. It's exactly what you want the Battle of Alberta to be, and I hope again it is tonight. I really do. I hope tomorrow, that's what I'm saying to you. It was a fantastic game, and I'm not going to lie. I wouldn't be that disappointed if there was a couple auto sheds at the gloves and a few fisticuffs. I'm okay with that.
Reach, Louie. Reach, Louie.
There is a buzz for the game, and cheap seats are going for $200+ on the secondary market. Lower bowl, $400+. But is the interest because it could be a blood sport, or is the interest because you got 5 teams battling for the top of the Pacific Division? These two teams are a couple points away from each other, and the game actually matters.
I think both. You're right on both accounts. I think when you look at this, the standings say a lot. People are excited here in Alberta that both teams are right in the mix, especially here in Edmonton. And also the fact that there's a lot of venom that's carried over from that January 11th game. 2 points are huge right now for both sides, and both teams were preaching that this morning. They've been preaching that building up to this game. The game takes precedent over what happened before. It's not the time to go out there and try and get retribution for something that happened in the last game. This is about putting your best game forward. I don't think that's entirely going to be what's on the player's mind. When you go into a game like this, and I've been part of this where it's built up and it's potentially going to be some fireworks, you're fully aware of it. You're fully aware of it. Sometimes you can't sleep in the afternoon. There's an extra excitement, nervousness, whatever you want to call it before the game, and you're going out there and you're totally aware that there could be some boiling over. And both of these teams have shown that they can do that. They can definitely push the button. They can definitely go over the line, and they can play a physical game as well as a highly skilled game. That's what makes it so exciting. So I think it's on both accounts. I look at it and say the standings are going to dictate a lot. People are excited where these teams are. And also what happened on January 11th is just carried over. And now there's been some time to really let it kind of, stew for a while. And I'll tell you what, it's it's very, very high here in Edmonton. Walking around here, talking to my friends, talking to people, talking to some of the Flames people this morning. It's the same in Calgary. People are very excited about these next 2 games.
Louie DeBrusk joining us here on Tim and Sid. Again, Flames Oilers live on Sportsnet tonight. Stars and Leafs before it on Scotiabank Wednesday Night Hockey. I wanted to pose this next question to Friedge, Louie, but we ran out of time. I'll ask you. Is this hype good for hockey?
Yeah, I think it is. You know what? Listen, I call me old school if you want. I don't care. I think that this is what it's all about, isn't it? A rivalry. This is kind of what makes the competition what it is. Every single guy in each respective team wants to win that game, and they want to go through the other guy to do it. That's kind of what a Battle of Alberta, what any rivalry is all about. Jeff Ward said it best this morning. In his media scrum, he said when he was a member of the Boston Bruins, they won the Stanley Cup in 2011, and he remembers those rivalry games against the Montreal Canadiens, and they were ferocious. But it was must-watch TV. It was must-watch. You wanted to know what happened. You wanted to see it all. And let's face it, it was great hockey. It was just a great storyline and great hockey. That's where those rivalries are built. And listen, the Battle of Alberta has been lacking in that. It truly has. In the last 10, 12 years, it's been lacking. Well, it's been, they've thrown gasoline right on the fire here to get this going. And for me, I think it's terrific for hockey.
This game intrigues me because there's a couple rivalries. Obviously, there's the two franchises in the province and the two cities. There's Tkachuk and Kassian, the two guys that really we're talking about. But to me, it's also Kassian and George Parros. And the fact that Tkachuk was not suspended or at least fined. Parros is going to be in the building. He's going to speak to the media. What do you expect him to say?
Good question. I'm going to listen to him at 7 o'clock tonight down at the building. And for me, I was confused with it, too. I'm not going to lie to you. When I saw that there was not even a conversation with Matthew Tkachuk about that hit, the first one. The second and third one, and I've talked to Kassian about it, he didn't have a problem with the second or third hit. They were both similar. I know the third one was very similar to the first one, but he was upright. He was standing up, and he just got hit with a good hit. It boiled over from the three hits combined. That's why he boiled over. The first hit for me, though, was the one that I always had a problem with, and I just thought it was a guy in a vulnerable position. Unsuspecting player, he charged to get in there. It was a big hit, and it could have gone the other way. That could have been a very devastating injury if he was maybe 2 inches more on the front part of his body, which, by the way, I don't know if he had to hit that part of his body. That's what I'm saying in minimizing the hit. But so I was surprised that there wasn't even some sort of a sentence or statement made by the league to say these are the types of hits that we're going to watch out for. We didn't think it warranted anything right now, but we're warning the league we don't like these hits. Nothing. It was as if, you know what, that's an okay hit. Don't worry about it. And I know for a fact, speaking with players, they don't really necessarily agree with that. They look at that and say that's a dangerous hit, and especially from a winger position, which is what I played. I've talked to some guys in the league that are wingers, and they said that's an easy hit. It's an unsuspecting player. When a guy's tied up with another player, I could come away from my hash marks anytime I want, take 5 strides, and blow somebody up. I mean, it's just one of those hits that you think is not really allowed, so you haven't seen it happen. I do hope that because of the way this went, that you don't see more of those hits. I don't think you will, because I still think the players deep down inside understand that's a dangerous hit. It's a dangerous hit, and you know what? It was a big one.
Tonight is a big one. Louie DeBrusk will be on headset this evening live on Sportsnet. Oilers and Flames. We've been waiting for 18 days on this. It is here. Louie, enjoy it, sir.
I will. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
You too. There's Louie DeBrusk.